We're finally past this fight night hump and onto a big-time pay-per-view. We have UFC 266, Volkanovski versus Ortega this Saturday. I am going to break down some of the DraftKings prices, talk about some of the expensive fighters, if they're worth it, the inexpensive fighters, who's the best value, hit up some people in between, and let's see if we can figure out some really solid picks and plays for this weekend. So the first thing I'm going to do is let's go ahead and sort this by salary. We'll talk about the expensive people. So right at the gate, we've got Shevchenko. She's defending her belt. All-time great. She should absolutely dominate. She's going to end up scoring a ton of points. There's no risk here if you have Shevchenko in your lineup. $9,500 is a lot of money, and it's going to limit what you can do later. But if you have Shevchenko in your lineup, she will come through with over 100 points, and that's what you're looking for at that price. Semelsberger over Sano. So Sano is dirt cheap because he hasn't fought in 5 years. And the last time he did fight was a draw. The time before that, a loss. The time before that, a loss. And if you look at his record, it's just not great. It's just not great. He is only in the UFC on this card because he trains with Nick Diaz, and that obviously was some sort of favor to Nick to get Nick on the card. With that being said, so Matt Semelsberger should smash him. And that's where this $9,400 came from. That's what the odds are. I think he's the second biggest favorite on the card behind Shevchenko. The problem is Sano hasn't fought in 5 years. We don't know what he's going to look like. He doesn't have enough fights to really understand his full body of work. I don't have enough confidence in my knowledge of Sano to put Semelsberger in my lineup. So Semelsberger should win, should destroy him. But for all we know, Sano's tough as hell. Right? Throws up some submissions, really slows Semelsberger down, and Semelsberger wins, but it's a 60-point fight. So I don't trust my lack of knowledge on Semelsberger's opponent to spend $9,400 on Semelsberger. So not going to touch that. Santos over Modafferi. Santos is probably a good play. She will not get a stoppage here. I mean, Modafferi is as tough as they come. She doesn't finish anybody, and she doesn't get finished, and she's been in probably 400 fights. Tons of fight IQ, zero athletic ability. So Santos is all athletic ability, also some solid fight IQ. She should blow through Modafferi, but I don't think there's going to be a stoppage. So if you're spending, if you're spending $9,300, you want those bonus points. So I think she'll score well. I don't know if I'm going to spend that on her when she's not very likely for a stoppage. We got Blades at $9,200 over Rosenstruck. Curtis Blades, nasty wrestler. Rosenstruck, nasty striker. The odds here are in the DraftKings prices because the expectation is Curtis Blades is going to take down Rosenstruck over and over and over and dominate him there. That is probably what is going to happen. But we've seen Blades get knocked out trying to do that exact same thing before. Now, takedowns are 5 points. Control time adds up quickly. Curtis Blades, $9,200. That's probably a decent play. You'll probably get your money's worth. And listen, he could absolutely be knocked out cold at any point in that fight. But $9,200, at the end of the day, you're chasing likely outcomes. That's a most likely outcome. We have Manon Ferro over Myra Bueno Silva. Manon Ferro, $9,100. She has proven to be a killer, a striking killer in the UFC. But Bueno Silva is tough. A step up in competition, good grappler, has her own striking abilities. I'm not going to spend the $9,100 on Manon. Last week I took Goldie. I spent the money on Hannah Goldie, and she came through. She paid off. She was worth it. Manon should win this. Absolutely should win this. But $9,100 is a lot of money. It's hard because, honestly, Manon should get a stoppage. I mean, depending on what your lineup looks like, Manon's not the worst pick at that price point. I don't know if I'm going to spend it because I like, Davishvili, for example, over Merab, over Marlon Moraes, $8,900. That saves me $200. He's going to have 500 takedowns and potentially a TKO. So that's what I would do. But Manon should be good for a stoppage. Then we have Andrade over Calvillo. Similar. Andrade should go in there, beat the brakes off her, throw her around, just bully her. Get some takedown points, some strike points. She should do well. $9,000? Well, maybe, but she should do well. Chris Dawkins at $8,800. I think that's a good value. I like Chris Dawkins at $8,800 because I do think he gets a KO or a TKO. So if I'm going through this, like, okay, if you can get Shevchenko, then get yourself a Chris Dawkins and Muradovishvili, and you got 3 fighters. Only one is at 9,000. The other 2 are just shy. Then you can work with some underdogs. You could probably make something happen there. Let's keep going down. Volkanovski is going to score a ton of points. It's a 5-round fight. I think he wins. This should go the distance. He should score a good amount of points. 5 full rounds to work with, $8,600. Solid play. Then you got Robbie Lawler and Nick Diaz. I would play Nick Diaz over Robbie Lawler. Robbie Lawler's $8,300. He's lost like 4 fights in a row, taken a ton of damage over the last few years. He does have power, and he's still a phenomenal fighter. But Nick Diaz has insane volume. Insane volume. We have not seen him fight in 6 years. So hopefully he doesn't look like a shell of himself, but let's assume he's 90% of what he was. That is an insane strike volume, constantly moving forward. You know, potentially a takedown. I doubt it, but 5 rounds of constant pressure and striking. He's probably a better deal than Robbie Lawler at $7,900. And then you can afford some of those more expensive people we talked about. Uros Medic, $8,400. He should get a stoppage as well. So Uros Medic is not a bad play. Let's scroll down. Brian Ortega, if you're on that side, again, $7,600, 5-round fight, main event. If you're on that side of it, then yeah, grab Brian Ortega, $7,600. I love Nasrat Haqparast at $7,500. I think he should be the favorite. He's a phenomenal striker. He's fighting Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker's a good striker as well, but Dan Hooker's taken, years off of his life with the last few fights. And every fight, he looks worse than the one before it. And I just don't think coming out here only 6 months or 7 months after a brutal knockout to Michael Chandler, should he be facing the level striker of Nasrat Haqparast with that power and that animal instinct? So I think Haqparast gets it done, $7,500. I'll take that all day. Then the rest of these people are pretty big underdogs for a reason. I think Lauren Murphy gets smoked by Shevchenko. I think Sano, I mentioned that before. There's too many unknowns with him, but probably smoked by Semelsberger. Roxanne will get tooled around by Santos. She could pull off a sneaky submission like she did with Macy Barber, but I doubt it. Rosenstruck's not a bad play at $7,000 if you think that fight is going to go the same way that Curtis Blades' fight went with Derek Lewis, right? If you think that he's going to catch Curtis Blades on the way in, then $7,000 is not a bad price. If you look at his last fight against Augusto Sakai, he was coming forward. He was being aggressive. If he fights Curtis Blades the same way he fought Augusto, he could touch him up, take his time, touch him up, not worry when he gets taken down. He could probably, make something happen. So he's not going to be in my lineup because I think he loses. But $7,000 at that price range, he's probably, he's not a bad play. Bueno Silva is probably going to lose to Ferro, but another $7,100. She can grapple, she can strike, she's tough. Mannon's probably a little overpriced, but honestly, I think the real value is in the $8,000 range. We have 3 fights that are 5 rounds. Make sure you have one person in each of those fights to get the extra time, get those extra points, especially the main event. That will go the distance. The Robbie Lawler fight should go the distance as well. Hit those 2. If you don't want to spend the money on Shevchenko, then just leave Murphy out of it and go elsewhere. Either way, that's our initial breakdown. We'll see what happens. The Haqparast fight might get dropped. There may be some last-minute replacements there, so we will see what happens. Make sure you go to wewantpicks.com/DraftKings and join our free DraftKings League. It is free to join, free to play, and if you win the league, I send you money. If you're a subscriber to this channel and you win the league, I send you $15. If you're a member, there's a join button under this video. If you click that button and become a member, I send you $30. Ton of fun this week. I'll see you on Saturday.